It's late June and we're back at the 70. Very exciting day for me today. I'm actually standing on the 37.5 acres just to the west of my original 70, and I just closed on this piece of property about a week ago. As you know, for those who've been following along, we've been spending a ton of time on the original 70 this spring and going back to this winter with so many projects such as edge feathering, hinge cutting. We planted a bunch of trees and shrubs. We just got the big bottom plot planted to beams a couple weeks ago, and we got that fenced. So we put in a ton of time and a ton of effort on getting that prepped for hopefully a successful deer season this year. I'm standing right now on the 37.5 acres just to the west of me. Wanted to go over today why it made sense for me to purchase this and what this property is going to offer in regards to how it borders and how it sets up next to the original 70. So we're going to get some boots on the ground, take you guys through this place, and show you what it's all about. I wanted a quick touch on why this property made sense and why I moved forward with purchasing it. So the property sits just west of my original 70, and this property and the original 70 share borders, and it's a pretty large border, and it's this property's east border, my original 70's west border. And what this property allows me to do is it gives me access from the west, and I know with your prevailing winds out of the west or northwest, it's not a huge deal to have access from the east, but it at least gives me another point to come in and access the property. This property is, like my 70 was, very, very raw. There's no food plots, no trails, nothing. And it is extremely thick out here, which from a cover standpoint, it's great, but it's gonna take a lot of work to try and dial this property in as well. But that's obviously the fun part and something to look forward to. So we're standing right now, probably 200 yards off the road, and there's a handful of open areas like this that would probably make sense where we could add food plots in or do something like that as well. But overall, it just made sense being that it was my neighbor, and it just gives me another access point and some additional acreage, whether we hunt it very hard or not. It just made a lot of sense. So we're gonna get walking and just show you some of the other features out here and just show you what it looks like. I mentioned earlier, but there are 0 trails out here, and there was obviously that established main trail at least getting into the 70, but there's nothing through here. So we're trying to truck our way through, and that is going to be something that's high up on my list, is to at least get, and I got to map out exactly how I want to set this up, but to at least get some sort of a access trail system in here, because it is a blank slate and there is nothing at all to the extent of a trail system. So we're going to keep blazing our way through here and see how much we can cover. For what the 70 lacks in topography and elevation, this one definitely makes up for. And that's something I really liked about it, is just the topography differences, and I think it would be cool, and this may be a pretty big aspiration, but even to put a little green plot on the top of this ridge here. I know access would probably be a doozy, but access is probably going to be a doozy no matter where you are on this piece as it sits right now. But just a lot of options, and being that these open spots are already here, it won't take a ton of clearing to at least get a food plot in. But yeah, like I mentioned, just really cool topography, and I think that was one of the things that I really liked about it. We're going to keep on trekking and see how much more we can see. We're getting close to where the border shares between the 70 and this new property. And as you can see behind me here, there's this old rundown blind, and I can understand why it would have made sense to have a spot here before everything grew up around it, but I just can't say it enough. This property is really, really thick, which from a cover standpoint is great. And we're getting to a point where, like I said, we're pretty close to the eastern border of this property, and the timber opens up a little more, which is probably a pretty similar site to what you guys have seen in regards to the 70 on just how open that timber is. So it'll be nice to have obviously some really thick cover as opposed to the 70 on this property. And I think similar to my original one, this timber will need some work. And I actually talked with a logger who mentioned the market for dry soft maple right now is pretty decent. So even thinking about getting that cut, but yeah, like I said before, everything had grown up, this spot probably made sense, but it would need a lot, and access would probably be tricky in here too. So we're gonna head in a little bit further, get to where we share that border, and then give you guys an idea on what that looks like there. I'm standing basically with 1 foot on the 70, 1 foot on the new piece right here. So it'd be the western border for the 70, the eastern border for the new piece. And as you can see, the 70's west side and the 37's east side is pretty similar in regards to habitat and what that looks like. It's just wide open, bunch of soft maple, and just not a whole lot of value to deer, in my opinion. So it'll be nice to obviously be able to, because right now we're basically on the road that runs the western border of the 70, and to obviously have the other side of that will be nice, but from a habitat side of things, it'll need a lot of work. So we're gonna walk south now, basically along the line, and then hop back in and then head back to the west. So we're standing on, it'd be basically the southeast corner, or pretty close to it. A really pretty looking area here. It's one of the higher points on this property, and as you can see, it's a bunch of, there's some hard maple and soft maple for the most part, and unfortunately, as I've mentioned before, I haven't found an oak on the 70 yet, have not found an oak on this piece either, but it's wide open as you can tell, but just kind of pretty. Could use a good cutting. It's just a cool spot with obviously the topography and whatnot, and I could definitely see birds roosting up here too, and it'd be a good area for them there. So also wanted to quick touch on the specifics on how this kind of came together. I had a friend of mine reach out who was familiar with the people, or friends with the people I bought it from, and he mentioned they were considering selling, and he got me in touch with them, and we met a couple times. I walked the property about a month ago pretty substantially, and then we just came to an agreement and closed on it. So really appreciated that opportunity from them, and they were great people to work with, and just, yeah, pretty thankful at the end of the day, just from the standpoint of being able to find a neighboring piece come up for sale, just because I don't think that happens a whole lot, and then being able to make it happen. So excited for yeah, what's in store out here. We're gonna continue heading west, and this portion of the property slopes down, and then it gets back into a pretty thick area. So a good variety, and we will keep on trekking. Well, we're continuing to walk along the southern border now, and the neighbor to the south, he's got that in corn this year, and just got me thinking, I think it'd be a pretty cool setup to do. I don't know if we do it here or a little further west, but to have access come in along the southern border and just to do a little kill plot or something, because obviously you'd expect when that corn is obviously mature, or even after he cuts it, a lot of those deer to go from bed to food. So to have a green plot here to intercept them, I think would be a pretty cool setup. I don't know where exactly we would put that food plot yet, but just a thought that I had. And at the end of the day, we just got to figure out access and where our trails are going to go, but would like to have something at least along the borders to get us in here a little bit of a decent way. So we are going to keep walking west and see what else it looks like. So the common theme out here, like I said, is just how thick it is. And we came off that little open area and we can barely walk. There's no remnants of any sort of a deer trail or anything. So having access or some sort of a trail system is going to be a must. Well, we just got done walking the 37 there, and overall really excited about that piece and what it's going to be able to bring to the 70 and then in itself as well. And just looking forward to getting going on some projects out there. And I think the biggest thing is just somehow getting access and trails in place, just to be able to get us through that property and just making it more accessible. There's a couple cool spots I'd like to put at least some smaller food plots to start, both on the northern border and the southern border. But yeah, overall just excited about that. While we were up here, we decided to stop by the 70 quickly, and we got good germination on the beans. Those look great, being that we only planted them a couple weeks ago now, but we've had some good rains and they look good. So we definitely need to get those sprayed and get that taken care of. So we'll most likely get that done the next week or so. And while we were here, brought the weed whacker up and we did weed whack around the fence just for the time being until we can spray that. As I said, just really excited about the 37 there and what that's going to bring. So as always, really appreciate you guys watching, all the insight, feedback, recommendations, you name it. It's really helpful and I greatly appreciate it. So as I mentioned, we'll be up here in the next couple weeks getting that spraying knocked out, and then got some other projects on the docket as well. So we will see you guys on the next one.